Greetings, all Shardvixen here, and you're going to hear lots of booming and banging around me because they're doing my roof. They don't ever tell me these things. They just, yesterday they stopped by and dropped off all the stuff, so I knew it was coming, I just didn't know when. Pouring rain outside, and they're up there putting a new roof on. Makes no sense to me because the water's going to get on the bottom part of where the shingles are. Alright, well, that's what happens when you have not so smart people doing not things they probably shouldn't be doing. Alright, so I'm going to whine a little bit besides that. Sorry. Haven't had a really great week. The title of this, though, is Friendship. And we're going to talk about friendship, but first, I want to talk about a few little other things real quick. I've come up with a system. You know how everybody has, I thought about this, everybody has, like, you can be part of the new family, or you can be a bro, or you can be, they have silly names for everybody. They're not silly, but fun names. Silly is the wrong word. I meant silly like fun, not silly like stupid. Or silly like crazy. I meant fun stuff. So I thought I'd do the whole cast that they have in, like, D&D. And people could be clerics, they could be knights, they could be paladins. I always say that word wrong. They could be lords, ladies, pathfinders, whatever. I'm going to create this whole system. And when I get to 350, which is my halfway mark for next year, we'll implement those. And when I get to 500, the first 100 people, well, 500, between 500 and 1,000. I haven't really thought it out real well yet because that's so far away. But those people who have sticked with me that get these titles will get something like a free hat or a free shirt, because I'll be making those at 500. And then people can buy them, of course, but there'll be special ones that'll have something that says that. Okay, so, sorry, Boo Boy needed something to eat. And my face is really bothering me, my neck, because I fell off my eating because I've been severely depressed. I think it's because they changed my meds. Might not be. I don't know. I've been depressed my whole life, so I don't know what causes it. I got a sore right here that keeps itching. Okay, so this is going to be kind of a choppy vlog because there's a lot going on here. Like I said, there's people banging on my roof. I got the kids, just me and the kids all weekend. No, you're fine. Just come in. As long as you're not in my background, we'll be good. Got Bobby Joe going in and out with the dogs, up and down the stairs, playing games, whatever. So it's not a quiet Saturday. Usually I get up very early and I do this, but my tablet was out of power. I'm having problems with my tripods. I lost both my tripods. I had a big one and a middle one, and they both broke. They were used, so, it was only a matter of time. It's like a used car. It's only a matter of time before. And they're not something that you can fix well. I mean, I glued them and taped them and wired them for the last year. Well, 9 months or so. So I've been using those since I moved the studio down here. What I'm going to whine about real quick kind of is connected to friendship. But anyway, really quick. So we were talking about the clerics will have like the Fox Knight, the Fox Lord, the Fox Duke, the Fox Pathfinder, the Fox Ranger. Kind of mess blend. I don't know yet. I'm going to set them up. The hats, like I said, will have Shardvixen or Grammy Plays or whatever. I think it's just going to be Shardvixen across it with my little logo. And then next to it, what your rank is. A pin that does your rank, so you could collect pins across the hats. I just thought it was a really cool idea. Some of it will be paid by me. Some is stuff that you can pay by at cost, of course. But we'll see. That's my goal. It's in my goal book. Working down, making stuff. Anybody that thinks that's a great idea, please comment. If you don't like the idea, comment. Give me some ideas, give me feedbacks, do whatever. But that'll be my engagement besides my vlogs with my audience and my animation, because you guys can actually put in ideas for animation, and I can explore those ideas as I'm learning about animation. Okay, so my little whine before we start friendships is this. I don't understand, and I never will understand this. I have a hard time with it. I've had a hard time since I was a kid. Is how people will say, okay, what I don't understand is how people will say, hey, I want to hang out with you. You seem like a really great person. let's do this together. And I'll say, okay, sure. And then I'll call them or I'll make arrangements, and they're always busy. And after a while, they just ignore me. Same thing online, okay? People will say, let's do stuff together. I contact them. I continue to contact them, and they just flake off. Most time, they're there too. They ignore you. If you don't want me talking to you, or you don't want to be my friend online, I don't care. Just tell me and leave, and we'll move on, and that'll be the end of it. Nice, pleasant trees are not my thing. Okay, part of the reason is when you have had mental health issues your whole life, when you have brain chemistry issues, and I will have a vlog explaining that down the road, you think differently about certain stuff. It just doesn't make sense in your head. For me, it doesn't make sense to say one thing and do another. It doesn't make sense to have body language that's saying, I want to be your friend, standing close to you, having communication, and then turning around and saying, God, what a bitch you are. And I don't feel that way. That's fine. Just move on. Okay? Don't keep lingering. It's the lingering ones I don't understand. Why do you keep pretending or keep... Maybe they don't know they're pretending, but that's fine. So we're going to move from that into our vlog, which is about friendship. Now, my opening about friendship is like this. Now, I would suggest that you watch my bubbles, which I think is my second vlog, which explains how we have our perception in our own little worlds, because friendship is really connected to that. I see people like this, okay, and friendship. So you have houses, right? People are like houses. And on the outside, you see a certain way. And it can make you want to know more about what's on the inside. Or the outside of the house can actually repel you and not want you to know anything. Now, in my case, the outside of my house tends to repel people, okay, in real. And I'll tell you, here's the thing. That those people that ignore you and pretend to be nice online, when I meet them in person, they pretty much say, ah, that's why I didn't like you. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because they think I'm ugly or fat or whatever, because it's in their bubble, their perception. Okay, it has nothing to do with me. I didn't do anything, so I don't have to feel bad if somebody doesn't like me. That's their thing. I can't change and make lots of people like me. Okay, so that is an endless cycle that will never stop if you are always trying to please people. Okay, and that's including your YouTube channel. If you are always trying to chase after the golden sub and redo your whole channel for those people, you will constantly never have a set place in your concept. My eyes sure do look crooked. I don't know if it's the tablet or what, because I told you I'm down to my little octopus tripod, and it doesn't hold the tablet as well. Alright, so I got a loopy. Push this one up. It's getting fat like this, you know. Woo! Okay, that didn't work. Sorry. Alright, so how people are like houses. So you have this spectacular mansion with these beautiful windows, and you walk inside, and there's all kinds of ways the inside can be. And depending on how your world is, how your perception is going to determine how you feel when you're inside that house or when you get to know somebody, okay? So not to confuse you. Online friends don't see the house. I mean, they might see things like your brand or maybe a picture of you or whatever, but for the most part, they don't really get to see the front of the house or the back of the house or the side of the house, or they just get to see the inside. And they only see the inside that you present. They might not really get to see the inside of you. People struggle with online friends all the time because they want to share more with people, but you have to admit that words are different written than words are spoken. And people are like argue with me that, and I'm like, no, because what happens when you have written words, well, actually, okay, so spoken and written words, you interpret them not how the person intended it, but how you see it through your bubble lens, okay? And then, but written's even worse, because you have to put tone to that, you have to get body language to that, you have to imagine that person you have never seen. You have to imagine how they would talk. You have to imagine how... That's why I like vlogs. because I can go look. But even vlogs, to a point, can be kind of like acting. You may not be doing you. I'm doing me because that's how I want my vlogs. I want you to see me, or hear me, or see me move, or anything like that. So I got a lot of online friends. I have more online friends than I have real life friends. But I have always struggled to have friends. People don't like me. And when you ask them why, because see, I'm that person that wants to study it and fix it and figure out how to make it work. So when I say to people, why is it you don't seem like you like me? They become very defensive. Forget about my nose. They become very defensive and immediately say that's not true. Okay, and then you're like, okay, you're right. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know how you feel. I don't know anything because I'm not getting the information correctly. Now, for me, that information problem could be because I'm not receiving the right signals in my head, and I'm not interpret them correctly, because I have always lived in a lot growing up during your childhood time from 0 to 25, when you learn how to decipher information from other people. Mine was corrupt because everybody lied to me. Teacher, everybody. It just seemed like people lied to me. People would say, I like you, and then trip me. I like you, and smack me around. I like you, and call you horrible names. So I got a really wacky sense of whatever. So I have to go flatline on it, always. So if I meet a person and we get to chit-chatting and we seem like we really are getting along, I probably jump the gun every time and say, hey, dude, lady, whoever, do you want to go out? You want to meet again? I'll give you my name, my address. You can give me a call. And most of the time I never hear from them. And that's, there's a sad part in there, or online. And then we take it to online. Online, it's, we should all do some stuff together. We should all do this together. Great ideas, but then a lot of times never go anywhere. And so I have to be honest and just ask the person, hey, do you want to play a game? Do you want to do some of that stuff? And if they say yes, that's awesome. If you say no, it's okay. It's not like I'm going to be hurt by it. I mean, I'm more hurt by being ignored. So, and I find most of the people that I try to hang out with ignore. Like, we were talking about YouTube channels, me and another person. I started out with 0 subs, literally. I didn't have anybody. I finally went in and took my son's YouTube channel and clicked it on there, so I would have 2 subs. And then I did the same thing with my own things, from a different channel. I subbed on it. So I started out then with, not real people, because they were me or my son, subs. And that was it. That's all I had when I started a year ago. Over a year ago. I started in March. I didn't have friends. I called people I knew and said, hey, I'm starting a YouTube channel. You guys want to check it out? Later on down the road, some of my friends clicked on it, but they never watched me. They're as useless as the other subs. So, my thing about friends is this. Some people you want to be friends with. You stand across, it's like being in love. You meet them, it clicks, you just want to be that way. And in psychology, the love that you feel for your mate is really the same as you feel for your friends. It doesn't change. The only difference is, one, you're having sexual interactions with, maybe, and so there's a sexual component to it. But with friends, there's not necessarily that sexual component. Sometimes there is, and that's good. I've had friends like that. We had sex, it was good, it was fun, and then we moved on. But usually those friendships don't last, because there's a lot of other things wrapped into them. I have a friend from when I was in 5th grade, and we're close in one aspect, but kind of not close in another aspect. I have friends that I call sisters, and we can be really close one day and not so close the other day. I have friends that I had friends for a while, and then when we separated and went our own way, and we just didn't make the connection. I have more friends that were boyfriends, but then when we stopped going out, we were no longer friends. I find that people have a really hard time with that cross-gender thing. I don't. Man, male, female, don't matter to me. I do know that males will talk about something different than females sometimes, but I've had male friends that are just into clothes as much as other female friends, and I've had female friends that are just as into video games as I am. The issue is that if you, sometimes the loneliness I feel is not generated because I don't have any friends. It's generated from within. It's a loneliness that I've carried with me my whole life. So that feeling of not feeling connected is really the big issue for me. And that is an interpretation from my bubble. And I have to be very careful. I whine and cry, and this is going to be a little long. I whine and cry about the fact that I'll meet somebody and we seem like we clicked, and then that person just never, ever seems to do their side of the relationship. I can call them, we can talk, we can go places, but it's always about them, not about me. There's never, and part of that's my fault, because when you have a relationship between two people, there's a lot of give and take, and if you can't find that balance, and it doesn't matter at this point if it's a friend or a lover or what, you can't find that balance where you're both getting what you want, then after a while, one of you starts to feel like the other person is just on you all the time. After I entered menopause, and that kind of changed that whole needing people around me. I'm more of a hermit now. I like to get online and interact with people. I will meet people online, we'll be friends for a long time, and then we meet in person, and whatever reason it is that I have a hard time making friends anyway, we'll intervene. Now, it has been said that it's pheromones, you know, and I talked about pheromones in my attraction. It's the same for friendship. To meet any other person and make connection with them requires that other person to also want the connection. And I lack in that ability. It's been a bane in my whole life. It's hard to get people to hire me because I lack in that ability to make a connection. It could be them. I mean, it could all be everybody else, but, you know, the saying goes, if it happens to you quite frequently, it's more likely you. And so I work very hard in making connections with people, doing eye contact, smiling, finding out what it is that is important to them. Frequently what happens to me in my life is I know lots of people. Okay, so I know lots of people, but I don't have that connection that I call friends. There are a lot of people online right now that I feel like we've made a connection, who I see as friends, like Pippin Plays, Old McReaper, Ninja, Pro 69, King Snake, King Snake and I actually talk. We get on talk. Pippin and I actually talk when we're on playing games. So that's one step of that ladder. So there's the people you know. So there's people you met, people you know, people you've known. I've known people for a very long time and we're not really friends. And then people that you talk to, people that you met, and then people that are those, like, family members close. And everyone has a different, moves on that ladder differently. So my therapist, yes, I see a therapist for my depression. My therapist said that Bob Marley made a quote about if to love is to suffer. And I think that's true. I paraphrased that. I'd have to look it up. I will look it up. I think that when we open our hearts to people, whether it's online or wherever, the vulnerability of opening our bubble to let them in a little bit, and then them doing something, maybe they didn't mean to you, maybe they're not being thoughtless on that point, or maybe they did, does cause you to hurt, but you have to decide if they're important enough to let that happen. So if you like somebody and they hurt you, but you like them enough that it's okay, then you let them in. My problem probably is I don't know that many people that I feel that hurt, except for my children and like my old friend that I've had since I was young, and some of my other closer sister-like friends. I don't know that I can suffer through the hurt a lot, so that's why it's hard for me to open up. I'm a very open person, so I know this sounds kind of confusing, but I am a very open person. I like talking to people, and I do, but there's still a layer of me that doesn't have that huge, I don't get the payback, and I know that sounds really bad, but I don't get the payback. I don't get that connection sometimes with people, and I'm not sure if it's them or me. And it could be both of us. We could both be doing this. But so friendships are like houses. And people are like houses. And when you walk into that door for the first time and perceive how you see, it really makes an impact on how you perceive that person. So in my case, if you were to walk into my house, it's probably very chaotic and messy because that's how my brain is. I'd probably have on one side of the wall, it'd be all superheroes, and on the other side, it'd probably be something like the map of all the places of the world and space on one side. It would be there wouldn't be an order that you would understand. There'd be order, but it wouldn't be one you'd understand. It'd be very chaotic. And for people that can't handle that when they walk through that door, when they walk into my space and my life and they see it, it turns them away. So, how do I feel now about my friendships? I love them. You know, I like being the Geknip Gang. Okay, I like that feeling of there being people you can talk to and you can stand and you can talk about games, and as you build relationships, you can talk about other things. On the flip side, brain freeze. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'm out of here. Peace. By the way, today's a better day than yesterday. That's good.